Hello, Stephanie. Hello again.
Hello, Mona.
So, welcome to our fourth episode and of our series, What is Knowledge Management and Why Should You Care? So, my name is Mona Rosenberg and I'm here with Stephanie Barnes, internationally very known knowledge management consultant, author, creator of Radical Knowledge Management. Stephanie, in the last 3 episodes, we have talked about what is knowledge management about, what radical knowledge management is all about, and what can be done to bring more creativity into organizations. And this time, you come up with how to create a knowledge sharing culture. Because this is then the final point of everything, right?
Yeah, maybe for now.
Now,
It's that. So radical knowledge management is my idea, my baby, and I, because it's my baby, I've been of course really close to it, and nursed it for the last, I don't know, since 2011, 13 years. And evolved it and researched it and flushed it all out, and because of that, because I'm so close to it, I've struggled with how to frame it for people. And what I have finally realized over the last month, 6 weeks or so, is that really what ties the whole thing together, all of the ideas, all the use cases together, is creating a knowledge sharing culture and using arts-based interventions to create that knowledge sharing culture. And then you get the innovation falling out of it, the teamwork, the team building, the creativity, the mental health benefits, everything falls out of that umbrella of culture. So so that's why we're here today.
Yeah, but who can create this culture in organizations?
Everyone. Just like KM is everyone's responsibility, the culture is everyone's responsibility as well. Now, obviously there are people up the hierarchy that have more influence in creating that culture, but even within your own team, you can create the culture, or at least you can influence it.
Yeah, would it be better to wait for the hierarchy to do it for everyone, or is it better to start small and grow it?
I always say start at the bottom and start at the top and work your way into the middle. And it's always the middle layer that's a bit threatened by culture change, because it upsets the status quo, and their bonuses. But it's a top down, and this is the same with knowledge management in general. It's top down and bottom up, so it's everyone has a role to play.
Okay, everyone has a role to play. And how is this culture created and defined? Who defines it? When you say from bottom up and bottom and top down, who will be the one who creates and defines it?
It depends. It's different in every organization. You see a lot of organizations creating posters and awareness campaigns about the culture the desired culture, and then they don't really do anything about it. They just expect it to really magically happen, and so that stuff is good, and that needs to come from the top down. That's the role certainly of the senior management team, is to set some of those guidelines and boundaries and fund some of that change activity. But then at the real change happens in people's behaviors at the front lines, and then all the way up and all the way down. And so this is why I say it's top down and bottom up, and so they can work with their teams. At the end of the day, it's a collection of people's behaviors. So
like everywhere, it's the behavior of the people.
Yeah.
So we just got a comment. So welcome everyone from Malaysia.
Yeah, I've seen that. The culture eat strategy for breakfast.
Yeah.
I've seen that quoted a lot. It actually didn't come from Peter Drucker. I hate to burst your bubble. It's his quote is actually something a little bit different. And so yeah, and I can't remember right now, but I have looked it up, and yeah, it's that culture certainly is the downfall of many a KM and other
Yeah.
activities, because it's about the people. um, and this is the thing, people think, oh, it's a technology, and there's so many projects that I've done, clients that I've worked with, who've implemented technology and blame the failure on the technology. It's not the technology's fault. It's that they didn't talk to the people and understand, what the people actually needed, and understand the culture of the organization and the language and the business processes and all of that piece of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So the culture makes a difference. I was on a project once, this was at HP, that I was doing knowledge management activities as part of the running of the project, and then I got switched out, and another knowledge project manager got switched in, and the person that came in didn't like all the KM stuff that we were doing, and so he stopped doing it, and so then the rest of the project team stops doing it, and
Really?
it just stops. All that lessons learned, all the collaboration, all the stuff that we were doing, all the knowledge sharing that we were doing. So this is why I say, like, every individual can have an impact on it, even if it's just on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And it spills out. Then if your team is doing it, somebody else hears about it, and
Yeah.
somebody else, and somebody else, and so it spreads at
Yeah.
a grassroots level.
So it's all about people's mindset, people's behavior. And when you say it's a sharing culture, it should be a sharing culture. How do you bring this into the organizations or in the teams, or so that they behave and understand how useful this is for their work?
So there's I'm not sure where to start. Part of the first step is that self-awareness, to know whether you're comfortable sharing, why you are or why you aren't, what it would take to make you comfortable. And so there's that self-awareness pillar. And then it sort of moves on to some other um, sort of spreads out from the individual to communication and creating psychological safety. And unfortunately, psychological safety in some cases has kind of been kind of taken off the rails, and used to mean like there should be no conflict, and that's really not. We should only just say what's politically correct to say within the organization, and that's really not what's meant um, by psychological safety. It should be safe to have dissenting opinions, and to say, no, you know what, that doesn't seem right to me. I think we should, take a
Yeah.
step back and look at this other thing, or that doesn't match up with my experience, and it should be safe to dissent. That's really, and to have that conflict. And so the second sort of pillar, if you will, in creating that knowledge sharing culture, then is helping people understand that, and learn some communication skills and conflict management skills, so that they can have those difficult conversations and find the middle ground, to move forward. And then we get into things like confidence and courage and bravery and facilitative leadership and strategy leadership stuff.
Yeah.
So
And for all of that, you need a space room. So not a space, a safe room.
yeah.
So you need space and safe.
Yep.
Safe.
Yeah. You need to trust the people, that are there, that you're working with, and that it's safe to say, you know what, I disagree.
Yeah.
And here is why, or I'm not sure why. So could we have a few minutes and discuss
Yeah.
and leave it and have the space to have that conversation. Because when you have those conversations, you develop a stronger relationship with the other person and trust, which is critical in a knowledge sharing environment, because you want to be able to trust that you're sharing knowledge and information with people that are going to use it respectfully and not do something terrible with it.
Right.
So building that trust is key.
Trust is key, absolutely, not only in knowledge management, it's everywhere. And Dr. Joe Vakasa just wrote, he did a study on tacit knowledge management and found out that even the administrators could not define or understand how important people are compared to explicit knowledge, technology, and other infrastructure resources. People are key knowledge assets. Yes, 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 yes.
Yep, I totally agree. Thank you, Joan. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
And
so, yeah.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of focus now on tacit knowledge and trying to capture tacit knowledge and using AI to capture tacit knowledge. And that's not a bad thing, trying to capture it, but you'll never fully capture it. There's always something that can't be said, and this is why I use arts-based interventions. It's because you have to experience it. You can't just read a book.
No.
Reading a book isn't learning. Learning is actually doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is experience of
the experience is everything. So how would you create a knowledge sharing culture for an organization?
I start small.
Yes. So, like we said before.
Yeah, like we said, start small and iterate, and let some word of mouth happen. And especially because I'm using arts-based interventions to do this work, to give people the experience of developing that trust and that self-knowledge and develop the communication skills and things. It's important to go slow and to iterate and find out what works and what doesn't work and let it, to a certain extent, grow naturally or grow organically. And so this is what I would do. I have created a program that is a 15, there's 15 through 5 modules, each one has 3 parts. And it's funny, I was thinking about it, 15, so it's potentially 15 weeks, or it's 30 weeks because it's every other week. But I think the important thing is to give people the time to have the experience and to reflect on the arts-based activities, on the conversations that are happening, on the experience, and allow for that personal development and growth, and allow trust isn't something, and sharing isn't something that just happens overnight. Especially in the organizations that many of us are in these days, that there's been all this turnover and all this stress and things. And so people need some space and some time, and mandating sharing is not the way to build trust and respect and share. So,
and what I would say, and Konstantinos just wrote a note, and it's the same what I just thought. He said, I would say to go through with quick wins, saying, exchange what you experience in all the sessions you just mentioned. And therefore you need space and the safe rooms, and so that everybody feels the trust and the safety to speak loud and speak out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I've designed it over 15 sessions, is to allow that to happen more naturally, and to have some quick wins, and to be able to share that out, and share that certainly within the team that's doing the training and doing the program, but also to share that out through newsletters and through the organizations, so that other people start to go, oh, what are they doing? Look how much, look at the problems they've solved. Look at the trust. Look at what's happening there and their results. And how do we get in on that? One of the case studies I have they had these two teams come together in a studio for a week and solve this problem, and everybody heard about it. And then everybody else wanted to come in and use the studio space to solve their problems and work out solutions to these intractable problems that they had been working on. So the word of mouth, when it's successful, really travels quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
This is absolutely key learning from my perspective is speak out and talk about it and let the people talk, because they experienced it and they can spread the word all over the organizations, and
Yeah.
how fantastic what they felt, and this is what Tech just said. It's trust. Yeah.
Yeah, and hearing it from your peers is a lot more meaningful than hearing it from a manager or from seeing it on a poster. Hearing it from your colleague, even if it's just somebody that you both get a coffee at the same time in the kitchen, it's like, oh, well, this person over here had a good experience with it. Maybe I should check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that would help with the trouble my team is having too.
Absolutely.
And that's much more meaningful.
Absolutely.
Than any kind of mandate.
And what Joan just said also is creating knowledge sharing platforms like communities of practice, storytelling, and story listening is also key. Yeah.
Yes. And story thinking. Yes.
Absolutely. And when we talk about stories, I would like to hear is the story of the Hungarian event, because you had a lot of people from all over the world who are in knowledge management, and what they think of knowledge management, the future of knowledge management. What do they think about it when they heard you?
Oh, I had really nice feedback from people. It was a really nice experience, really good experience. I will say it was a little hot in Hungary that week, but it was really good, and it was the first time that I had framed it, the radical knowledge management, as a knowledge sharing, culture building activity. So to try it out in front of a keynote audience of, I don't know, maybe 80 people. And then I don't know how many were online, about the same number. I think they said online.
Okay. It was a hybrid conference.
It was a hybrid conference.
Yeah.
So there were three tracks in person and in Hungary, and then there were 3 tracks online on Zoom. So yeah, it was a mixed, it was hybrid. And yeah, it went really, really well. It was really well received, had some really good questions and comments at the end, that, yeah, really, really made me think about, the academics made me think about things in a way that I hadn't thought about them before.
What were their experiences? What did they talk about when they heard you?
Oh, they were really curious about how, because the keynote was entitled "Helping Humans in an AI World," which is what a lot of my talks are titled these days, although they're all a little bit different about, depending on the audience. But so they were really, some of them expected me to be talking about technology. And sort of somehow, some way to teach people to use the technology faster or better, and and I like, no.
And what was the reaction?
Sorry?
What was the reaction of the people when they found out that you are not talk about technology?
Pleasant surprise, I think. They once I explained, why, that it was really about helping the humans not use the technology directly, but to have the skill sets, to have the curiosity, to have the energy, for lack of a better word, to be curious and to use it in a meaningful way, not just use it because they've got to be more productive and efficient. Sometimes being more productive and efficient is about slowing down, right? And stepping back and going, oh, okay, what's the right question? What problem am I really trying to solve here? And open up the space, and then figure out, maybe do some stuff physically, analog, painting, and then, allow the insights to come in, because it takes our brains out of that focused thinking and staring at that, Excel spreadsheet and go, oh, no, this is how I should do it. And then go back to the spreadsheet with a better approach. And so, once I sort of explained that a bit to them, they appreciate that yes, the humans actually need some help, and that the AI needs humans to create good quality knowledge.
Yeah,
they fed with, right?
Need humans. They need the AI needs humans who are creative, who are innovative, and you cannot be innovative without stepping out of an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
got to get out of the Excel.
We all need the movement. So without movement, we cannot be innovative and creative.
Yeah. Got to get out of focused thinking into diffuse thinking, and see what floats up to the surface.
Right. So, and what if you have a toxic organization? What can you do to
leave?
Turn this around.
Find someplace else. Toxic organizations are hard, and I say, leave kind of tongue in cheek or jokingly, because that's certainly not an option for everyone. So if you're kind of stuck, for lack of a better word, in a toxic organization, you can still influence at least your team. So start doing some of this stuff with your team. Like we've been saying, start small. So start with your team, even if you don't have a lot of management support and that's not coming from the top at all. You can still influence the people that you work with on a daily basis, and so plan that. Be purposeful about that. Share some of these ideas, that I've shared and that I share on LinkedIn, about how to create a knowledge sharing culture, and those activities, and do some arts-based interventions, and do some guided visualizations, and make some space to build the trust and to build the psychological safety.
That was something I just wanted to mention, because also when you start small, you need to have trust within your group, within your team. Because if you do not have this, if there is someone within the team who don't trust, who don't feel safe, so everything will crash, I guess.
Yeah. And sometimes you need to have some one-on-one conversations outside of the group.
Yes.
If there's someone that's feeling particularly vulnerable or not willing to participate, taking them for coffee or tea or lunch and having that conversation and finding out, what their concerns are. Maybe they've been burned in the past and they're afraid to share their knowledge, and to participate and to collaborate with the people on the team. Maybe their boss is penalizing them. Find out what it is, and then figure out how to address it, and make it safe for them to participate and bring them in.
This sounds also to have a lot of empathy.
Yeah. Empathy and compassion.
Right.
Two of my favorite words lately. So yeah, and a general lack of it in our organizations and in our culture, our society more broadly, which is really disappointing and frustrating and ultimately damaging for all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've all been through a lot. We're continuing to go through a lot. And so cutting ourselves and each other some slack, and again, giving ourselves some space, disconnecting from, and this is why the arts-based intervention stuff that I do is really not, I do it virtually, so we are using Zoom, but we're actually using paint, we're actually using pencils and paper, and going out and taking pictures with our cameras, and we're actually doing analog as much as we can do analog, because we need to unplug. We need to have those physical experiences, not just the experience and I don't want the technology to get in the way. So, and everybody has, I like the photography ones, the projects that we do, and the programs, because it gets everybody out looking, and looking at things in a different way, which is fun.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So going out, finding a different way of looking on stuff and things who are outside. I think to be clear, when you go out and focus on watching what's outside and not just running through the streets, or through nature. Just go out, open your eyes and your ears and your heart, and let everything in.
Yes, absolutely. Develop some empathy and some compassion.
Right.
For sure.
We have more comments. So like one user said on LinkedIn, statistics back this up as a value proposition. Organizations that actively promote a culture of innovation are 3 to 4 times more likely to outperform their peers. Right. And he also put in the McKinsey reference.
Ah, nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. I bet you that's Jordan doing that. Yeah. So thank you.
Is there anything else you would recommend organizations or peoples, what we haven't talked about yet, what they should think about, what they shouldn't forget?
Think about being more purposeful about it, including it as part of their knowledge management strategy. And yeah, just thinking about it, be more purposeful about it. I think a lot of times, because it's people and it's soft and squishy, people kind of go, oh, well, it'll just happen, because they don't really know how to tackle it, what to do. And yet there are absolutely activities that we can do to build those soft skills and to encourage behavior change and to create that knowledge sharing culture. So be purposeful about it, be directive about it. Don't be command and control about it, but be directed about it. Be open, have the conversations, do the painting, have the experiences, give people the chance to have the experiences and to create those new behaviors.
Yeah, and I also think about they shouldn't be angry about doing stuff like this, because people are.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, well, because they think they don't have time.
They don't have time, they are not good enough, or things like that. Be brave, go through.
Absolutely, be brave. And it's about the process. It's really not about whatever the outcome is. It's not about the photo. It's not about the painting. It's not about the drawing. It's not about, any of the end product. It's about having the experience. It's about the process.
Yeah.
That's where the learning comes in, and that's where the behavior change, starts from, is from the experience.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. And culture change is a marathon, right? So
it's a time frame. It's not never ending. So we are always learning, like lifelong learners. So we are in this position at the moment. Yeah.
Continuous learning. Absolutely.
Everything takes time, and the time to be overcome our old behaviors needs time.
Yeah, and we need to give ourselves and we need to give our teammates that time. So
we need to,
there's really no way around it. it's not a one and done thing. It's a 6 months, it's a year, it's a, you know,
Yeah.
the
It
changes.
takes the time that it takes. So
Yep.
therefore, your classes you are offering are like a program over weeks to experience, to learn, and to exchange, so that everybody has the chance to reflect on everything.
Yeah, and start to change their behavior. So yeah.
So many thanks. 30 minutes are over. So many thanks, and I hope everyone who has questions will come up with them after our session directly to you or to me. We are happy to answer everything.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Have a nice evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.